Find out what it means for you.
Plus, we have the secret to a healthy marriage.
When you go to bed at night, always kiss each other.
An 8-decade love affair coming up.
And summer may be about over, but one key piece of road construction is not. Find out why. Next on KCAU 9 News.
We are Siouxland proud. This is KCAU 9 News at 10.
And good evening on a Monday. Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Tim Seaman.
And I'm Sophie Erber. Construction on roads across Siouxland causing issues for some drivers.
Especially when it comes to how long it takes to get some of these projects finished. Tonight we're focusing on one problem spot in particular in our top story at 10.
Tim and Sophie, whether it's your daily commute or you just use that stretch of road every once in a while, the 129 bridge over the Missouri River leading into South Sioux has been under construction for quite some time. Some Siouxlanders are wondering why the project is taking so long.
I mean, it kind of almost feels like the interstate construction project all over again, where it's going to go on for, you know, who knows how long.
A Sioux City engineer with the Iowa DOT, who is currently overseeing the project, says since the start of construction back in April, him and his team have run into some issues.
There's been times where we've had some issues with materials, getting some of the materials that needed for the bridge.
Causing minor delays, but that delay is what has some Siouxlanders frustrated with the renovation.
If it's a busier time of day, like people are going to work or getting off work, it's kind of adds quite a bit to the commute or the drive. And I mean, you can't really get around it because the only other way into South Sioux is you have to go downtown and go across.
We're trying to limit how much the ramps are closed, but we have to get them closed to be able to perform work on the ramp itself.
He says, but they do have a few other closures planned for later this month, so drivers should prepare for that.
Just trying to be patient with us. We are getting things done as fast as we can. We do have a restricted speed. We dropped the speed limit down to 55 through that area. We do ask that people follow that speed limit. It helps just for the safety of everybody.
The goal for the roughly $5.7 million project is to do basic maintenance on the bridge that will better the infrastructure here in Sioux City long term.
I feel like in Sioux City there's only two seasons, winter and construction seasons, so I'm really hoping to, and it feels like they're fixing the same roads kind of over and over, so I'm hoping we can get some stuff taken care of.
As of now, construction in that area is expected to be done by November, but that date could possibly change. Reporting in the studio, Mallory Smith, KCAU 9 News. Back to you at the desk.
All right, thanks so much, Mallory. And tonight, a new residential development got its first approval from the Sioux City Council. Council members unanimously approved rezoning for a residential subdivision planned for Sioux City's north side. The plan shows 16 twin home units on 8 different lots. The council also heard a presentation on the new manual for the statewide urban design and specifications, or known as SUDAS.
You know, you saw the book. You think I'm going to read that book? Do you think I'm going to read the supplements? I'm sorry, I'm not going to. But highlight what those changes are, because what they propose, especially in the paving, is a dramatic change from what SUDAS expects. And if you're going to have dramatic changes, then you should tell the council this is going to dramatically affect the pricing of developments in this community.
The Institute for Transportation at Iowa State University maintains Iowa's SUDAS manuals.
Meanwhile, South Sioux City Council members approved plans to remove and replace several trees in the community. Just last week, the Public Works Department voted to apply for grants to remove ash trees, and tonight, City Council members approved the grant application as well. Officials are concerned that the recent discovery of emerald ash borers in Platte County could threaten trees here in South Sioux City.
We're very concerned about the number of ash trees we have in town. The emerald ash borer is all around us, and we know that it's going to be in our city. We want to be ahead of the ball game. We want to remove those trees that are in our parks, along some of our streets. So we want to be ahead of that.
South Sioux City officials say they'll also be applying for grants to help pay for replacement.
A judge tonight says South Dakota Attorney General Jason Ravnsborg cannot use Joe Beaver's mental health records in the upcoming trial. Ravnsborg, of course, faces 3 misdemeanors after the car he was driving hit and killed Joseph Beaver back in September. The defense attorney argued that Ravnsborg's vehicle was in its lane and Beaver might have been attempting suicide. Beaver's widow wrote a letter to the judge saying the mental health records, if released, would likely include references to her, and that her privacy was protected under Marcy's law. The trial is expected to start this Thursday.
Police have arrested a man that they say is connected to the Sunday morning arson of a Sioux City nightclub. 36-year-old Valen Jackson of Sioux City is charged with second-degree arson, first-degree criminal mischief, and third-degree burglary, all for allegedly setting a fire at the Esquire Club on West 7th Street. The fire was reported shortly after 8 in the morning, damaging enough property totaling more than $20,000. Sioux City police say that Jackson, along with another man, forced the door open and then set that fire. Motivation for the arson at this time appearing to be something to do with animosity toward that club. Video evidence obtained shows a white man with Jackson. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers. The number is there on your screen, 258-TIPS or 258-8477.
A Siouxland couple celebrated their 80th wedding anniversary today, yes, and their community helped to make it extra memorable.
KCAU 9 reporter Jason Toctasian shows us how they cruised into the new milestone.
Tim and Sophie, Claire and Laura Stokes were married on August 23, 1941 in El Cajon, California. And now 80 years later, they're celebrating in style. Claire and Laura Stokes celebrated today with friends and family.
I can't believe that. I just can't believe it. This many people.
And to make the day special, a 1926 Ford Model T was brought to their nursing home for a memorable ride.
Care Center called and said that, honoring their anniversary, they'd like to ride in a Model T. And so they called me and said, "Can we use your car?" And I said, "Well, I can't get them both in because the seat's too narrow." So I called Senator Engel, said, "You can seat 4 in your Model T. Will you loan it out?" And he said, "Sure, I'll loan it out."
No, just makes the tears come. In fact, it's been a long, long time since I've even seen one of those.
That was awesome. The people here know them so well. They've been here for 2 years. It was amazing because my dad loves cars, and he used to have a Model T. Just the look on their faces was priceless to me.
Hayek says the staff at Wayne Country View Care and Rehab played a major role in organizing their celebration.
We've needed help, and they have been amazing. They've been way more than caretakers. They've been family.
Laura told me that her key to a long and happy marriage is to always kiss your significant other and say, "I love you," before bedtime. Jason Toctasian, KCAU 9 News.
Quite a story. Once again, the 2021 Iowa State Fair topped the 1 million mark in attendance. According to the totals posted on the State Fair's website, 1,094,000 people celebrated a return to the fair over 11 days. Of course, the fair ended yesterday. That's about 76,000 fewer fairgoers than when it was last held. Of course, that was 2019. State Fair organizers tell us that they didn't know what to expect after COVID-19 canceled last year's event and just how many people would be ready to come back to the fairgrounds, as well as that virus again popping up during the fair. So overall, they're very happy, they say, with the turnout this year. I was at the fair for a couple of days last week, and it was just like any other state fair. Great time.
Great food?
Great food.
That is
great
good.
People, great events.
I was about to say, what was the favorite thing you had there?
The corn dogs, probably. It's pretty simple for me.
I always get a corn dog and maybe some fried Oreos. And actually, I think on top of the food, they were giving out COVID vaccines this year. So that's Hy-Vee, I think, was part of that. So that's how you know COVID-19 is still around. But the fair was very much enjoyed. And Victor, the weather still lingering as full force summer, even though a lot of kids went back to school today.
I can't imagine how it was, especially with the high humidity values, feeling like 100 degrees in many areas. Here in Sioux City, though, we topped off right around 90 degrees. The Ho Chunk Center, you can see right now, pretty quiet out there. We did not see that storm coverage. Basically missed us yet again, almost like a repeat of yesterday. And then temperatures here in Sioux City have dropped off a little bit, but we're still being reported in the 80s last I checked. There it is, 84 degrees with a southeast wind at 10 miles per hour. Humidity at 69%. We'll see that temperatures in the Siouxland area are still pretty warm in the 70s and 80s. 75 here in Sioux City. Well, that's different from what I was saying. Wayne at 80 degrees, 80 degrees in Yankton, 82 in Norfolk, and then Tekamah to our south at 81. You can see as we travel further east, Storm Lake at 76 and Spencer at 77, but we have relative humidity values. They're still being reported above 60%. Now only increasing as we've seen temperatures drop out coverage. Overnight rain and storm is what we're expecting for Wednesday into Thursday, giving us our best rain chances of the week on Thursday. Getting warmer yet again on Friday at 90 degrees, and then Saturday with a 40% rain chance to kick off the weekend. But afterwards, hopefully we do get that rain, because that'd be the sign of a cold front, giving us cooler temperatures. Finally, maybe giving us seasonal temperatures. I know we really haven't had seasonal through the month of August. If we go through the calendar, I'll probably be updating that tomorrow. We're going to see probably 20 days of above average temperatures, sadly.
Rain in the area, the haze, the clouds, the sun tonight. Really a weird, I guess maybe beautiful is a better word, to the west tonight.
It was pretty.
It's really orange.
Maybe seeing some good sunsets, but what would have been better to see is some rain, I know, personally.
We do really need that, especially the farmers. Thanks a lot, Victor. Well, there is a little over a week now until all U.S. forces must withdraw from Afghanistan.
How the Biden administration is planning to get thousands of U.S. citizens as well as our allies out of that country coming up. But first, the U.S. has its first FDA-approved COVID vaccine, how it may impact the fight against the pandemic and the warning the FDA is now issuing. That's all next.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Tim Seaman, Sophie Erber, Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson, and Sports Director Jake Jones. This is KCAU 9 News at 10. KCAU's...
Welcome back. The Pfizer vaccine became the first COVID-19 vaccine to earn FDA approval. This news coming down today.
This is a pivotal moment for our country in the fight against the pandemic. While this and other vaccines have met the FDA's rigorous scientific standards for emergency use authorization, as the first FDA-approved COVID-19 vaccine, the public can be confident that this vaccine meets the FDA's gold standards for safety, effectiveness, and manufacturing quality.
More than 80 million eligible Americans are still unvaccinated tonight. 31% of those who have not gotten the shot say they would if it's approved by the FDA. Additionally, the approval could open the door now for schools and businesses to potentially mandate getting the vaccine. One thing the FDA approval does not impact is who can get the vaccine, because children under the age of 12 are still not eligible. The FDA, though, is warning consumers to not use livestock dewormers as a way to treat or prevent COVID-19. The agency says it has received multiple reports of people who have been hospitalized after taking ivermectin. The drug is generally used in animals to treat or prevent certain parasites or heartworm disease. There are ivermectin tablets and topical formulations approved for use to treat people with some parasitic worms or head lice and skin conditions. But the FDA says these tablets approved for humans are very specific in dosage and that taking large doses of the drug is dangerous and can cause serious harm.
The House cut its August recess short in Washington today to kick off its own infrastructure debate. Lawmakers started poring over the traditional and larger human infrastructure measures, along with the voting rights bill. Now, the partisan split continues over what is a $3.5 trillion framework for President Biden's human infrastructure plan, which tackles paid family and medical leave, climate measures, and House issues. Democrats want to pay for that plan by raising taxes on the wealthiest Americans, but House Republicans reject that proposal and its price tag.
We cannot inflate our way out of inflation or power an economy on empty promises.
That will lower costs for families, create good-paying jobs, and cut taxes for hardworking Americans.
Democrats say that they plan to iron out the details by September 15th and then can only afford to lose a handful of votes.
Meanwhile, less than 10 days now before the U.S.'s planned withdrawal deadline from Afghanistan, evacuations are still ramping up tonight amid the possibility of new threats now at the airport in Kabul.
Every day we have troops on the ground. These troops, innocent civilians at the airport, face the risk of attack from ISIS.
So as the clock ticks toward next week's deadline, the British Prime Minister is expected to call for an extension at tomorrow's virtual G7 crisis talks on Afghanistan. But it is a proposal that has been swiftly rejected by the Taliban.
If they are intent on continuing the occupation, so it will provoke a reaction.
According to President Joe Biden, the U.S. has already evacuated 11,000 people out of Afghanistan in the past 36 hours. However, thousands more U.S. citizens and Afghani allies remain still waiting to be evacuated tonight.
And to help with the evacuation, the Biden administration is considering activating a government provision that would require U.S. airlines to pitch in. The Civil Reserve Air Fleet is a support provision to the Department of Defense. About 20 U.S. commercial jets from up to 5 airlines would be part of the call-up to assist with airlift operations. The planes would be sent to U.S. bases in Qatar, Bahrain, and Germany, and not in or out of Kabul.
A developing story. We will keep you updated.
Again, yeah.
We switch gears now. Sports director Jake Jones joins us. Jake, what do you have tonight?
Brightcliff Volleyball Media Day this afternoon. Chargers looking to get in the big improvement department. Plus, next up in our two-a-day previews, the West Sioux Falcons. I'll tell you how things are shaking up in Hayward coming up next. Over the fence and right. And that was all they needed. South Dakota gets the winning runs. They move on to Wednesday. Well, they'll face California in the semis.
Congrats, go Westies.
A lot of fun there. Thanks, Jake. Hey, stay with us. We'll be right back. Victor's going to give us one more peek at the overnight. Here's a live look from the campus at Dordt University in Sioux Center.
So we are going to be seeing some very warm weather tomorrow. Temperatures pushing up into the 90s, sadly, with high humidities.
All right, thanks. Good night.